Hello! Today is Wednesday, July 22nd, and this is day 3 of my first follow-up trip at the Hansa Center. It's the year 2015. um, so another day of treatment. I'm going to bring my notes up here on the computer and look at them while I try to update you. First of all, yesterday in my recording I said that one of the ladies I met here is from Jacksonville, and she's not from Jacksonville, she's from somewhere else in Florida. I forget. Deltona, I think she said. Not Daytona, but Deltona. Anyway, just wanted to correct that little detail. So today I started my day at 9:30 with a massage, then I saw the doctor, then I had a sauna, foot bath, did the ST8, did the Lux, which was around my neck and kind of around the heart here on the chest area, and that was to stimulate blood circulation. And in my ears I had water sounds, like, you know, ocean waves or something. I don't remember if I said yesterday what sounds I had. It was water and birds yesterday. Then today the last thing I did was the power plate, and I did the same thing I did the other 2 days, which was 5 minutes of standing for overall, you know, tune up of the body, healing and all of that. Yeah, I wanted to say that I've really been enjoying meeting so many people while I've been here this time. There's a lot more people here this time, and a lot more people who are spending time in the, I don't know, it's not the lobby, but it's kind of the back. In the back, it's a room where there's chairs and tables and you can talk and stuff. And there's almost always people in there this time, whereas last time it was almost always empty. So part of the reason why there's so many more people is they added another doctor, so that actually might be the whole reason there's more people, I don't know, but anyway, it contributes to it. But it's been really cool to meet all kinds of people and just have all kinds of conversations about, you know, things that we've been through, or even stuff unrelated to our health, because we share some people, you know, once you get to the Hansa Center, if you're there for health treatment, you share some pretty significant core values regarding healthcare and healthy living, and that stuff is really important to me, so it's really nice to connect with people who also share those values, and a lot of them are Christian, so it all kind of goes hand in hand for them the same way it does for me, and I really am appreciating getting the time to get to know them. And, you know, even if there had been that many people to get to know last time I was here, I don't know that I would have been able to do it, because on my initial trip it was so much more taxing on my body, whereas this time I'm, you know, not feeling drained like I was then, and I'm, you know, tolerating all the therapies just fine and having no problems. Well, except for the power plate today, because it was the third day I had done it standing up, and you can't stand straight, you have to bend your knees, and so my upper thighs were kind of tired and sore and had a hard time finishing my 5 minutes today, but other than that I haven't had any problems with the therapies at all. So today my doctor did, well, the first thing when I got in there, I told him that my sleep was worse last night than it, you know, has been, which I don't think has anything to do with Hansa or any of the treatments or any of the supplements. It's just sometimes the troubles I have sleeping are worse than other times, and I just was having a harder time last night. We'll see how it goes tonight. Sometimes once I start having a harder time, it gets worse and worse. Sometimes it's just kind of a hit or miss bad night. So we'll see. So I told him that, and then I also told him I was having trouble with my hip, my right hip. And I had told him that yesterday. I forgot to mention this on the video, that like my right side on my lower back was hurting. And it has started hurting because I had my CRT yesterday. And you have to first sit still for, I don't know how long it was, 15, 20 minutes. And that's really hard for me, just to sit. If I could lay down, that would have been fine, but there was no place I could lay down, and I wasn't sure that it was okay for me to lay down. So I just sat, and then I had to stand through the CRT, and just stand there. You can't move around, and it's really hard for me to stand. It's easier for me if I can just walk around, but you can't do that. You have to just stand there for about 20 minutes. And so between those two things, that just really, first I was sitting so long, then I was standing so long, and by the end of that, the right side of my hip, or my lower back and my right hip, were in quite a lot of pain. So he did an adjustment yesterday on my lower back, which did something, but the pain didn't go away, and especially like the worst parts of the pain didn't go away. So I was telling him that today, and he said, well, it sounds like my hip was impacted. So he had me lie face up on the table, and he basically yanked on my leg to kind of pull it out. And it didn't really feel better at all, especially not right away. It is feeling better now, and I think once I can actually lay down and rest, I think that will help it feel a lot better too. Hopefully, anyway. So, and since I have seen actually quite a lot of relief already, I'm assuming that getting rest is going to just kind of further that feeling better. So that was the first thing we did, was an actual physical chiropractic adjustment. Then he got out the percussor and he percussed my left thigh, actually like on the outside of the upper part of my left leg, and on up into the hip area. Then he checked a few other things, and actually that percussor on my left leg was actually kind of hard to get through, because it's basically like what it felt like was tension in the leg, and then like he was pushing on the tension with the percussor, which it doesn't vibrate, but that's the best way I can describe it, is it feels like a vibrating sensation. And so it was, and he really pushes, to accomplish what he's trying to accomplish. And that was difficult because it was really tender in there. And I know last year when he did that, he was actually trying to fix the fascia. I actually didn't ask him today what he was doing. There's a lot of stuff that, because I'm accustomed to him doing these things, I don't think to ask about him while he's doing them. So he did that, and then he checked some other things elsewhere on my body with the bioresonance scanning. I don't know what he was checking. And then we redid the neurocardio synchronization. We did that last year. If you want a really detailed description of it, you can find the video from last year. I'll just give a quick overview, basically. And it was a little different this time, and I think that's part of why we were redoing it, but also probably because my heart is not doing what it's supposed to be doing still. We redid it to try to get my heart functioning properly. Basically, he puts a stethoscope on my heart. It's hooked up to an iPad, and then the iPad has headphones on. He put the headphones on me, and so I was listening to my heartbeat, and he was recording it on a graph on the iPod, and we did that for a little bit. Then he had it playing in my ears, and he got a tuning fork, and I don't know what hertz the tuning fork was, but he got the tuning fork and had that. I think the way those work is, I didn't see him do it because I didn't have my glasses on, but I think the way those work is you kind of pound it on your hand, and then it makes its tune. So he had the tuning fork, and he was holding it over my heart. Then I could hear that. I mean, I could hear it just like from the tuning fork, but then I also could hear it in the headphones. It was going into the stethoscope that was on my chest, and so I could hear the tuning fork and my heartbeat in there. So then what he did after that was he had another computer screen to the right of me. So he gave me my glasses and he had me listen to my heartbeat and watch the graph. Now I can't remember exactly what order we did this in. Because there was a point where I was listening to my heartbeat and watching the graph, and he was doing the bioresonance scanning on me and trying to find out what needed to be done to correct what's wrong with my heart and to bring harmony to my heart and brain and whatever's all connected to that and affecting that. But there was also a point where he played back the recording of my heartbeat with the sound of the tuning fork behind it. So first he played my heartbeat into my ear. Well, he wasn't playing it. I was listening to it live. He was recording it. And then he did the tuning fork and recorded that with my heartbeat. And then he played it back to me with my heartbeat and the tuning fork on the recording. And at some point I was also then looking at the computer screen to look at the graph of what my heart was doing. And then between all of those things, essentially he said what they're trying to do is create as many disturbances as possible, basically I think to find them so they can be corrected. So he was trying to create as many disturbances as are created between my heart and brain to locate them and then correct them. So we did that, and then he drives. Now last year when I was here, he actually drove my heartbeat into a homeopathic solution, and that was part of the remedy to correct the problems between my heart and my brain. And that's a video that I talked a lot about that from last year. So again, if you want more details on that, I'll let you can ask me or just go watch the videos on my YouTube channel and find it. And so anyway, he asked me, he's like, asked me if I knew that now they were putting the heartbeats in the homeopathic remedies, and I said, yeah, you told me that I was the first one that you did that to. So he's like, oh, okay, so you were right at the beginning of that. And I said, yeah. And he said, now what they're doing is driving the frequencies of my heartbeat plus the frequency of the tuning fork, because that just really steps up bringing the heart, the brain, and all that stuff connected to it into harmony, working together, and to synchronize the brain and the heart. So he did that and made up my remedy, and that was the only remedy I got for today. So it was several substances and then the heartbeat and the tuning fork. So pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool stuff. It's really cutting edge biological medicine. It's really cool. Then after that, he percussed my colon to kind of break some stuff up in there. He said a lot of people feel nauseous after that, but I didn't. I did feel a little, I guess, disturbances in my abdomen, but I didn't feel sick or anything, and it was only for a minute or two. And it felt mostly good while he was doing it. It's just like pressure and vibration being driven into my abdomen. So there were some points that were a little uncomfortable, but mostly it actually felt good to me. So then I don't know what he wanted to do next, but he said that we didn't have time for it, so we'll do it tomorrow. So that was the end of my doctor appointment, and I already told you about the rest of the day. So that's all for today. Stay tuned.